What's up guys, it's Nerdbug coming to you with another episode of But Does It Spin, and today we are opening a volume 26 random booster. Fantastic. There are quite a few cool stuff here that I'm looking forward to getting. Obviously the main one is Roar Bahamut, but Dranzer V2, fantastic. And the 2 Sparking Bays, of course, to increase our collection of Sparking Bays and so that World Spriggan can fight some of them. Fantastic. So let's open this and see what we can get. But before we continue, leave us a like if you've been enjoying this series and consider subscribing not to miss any future videos of But Does It Spin. So are you ready? Let's go. And here we are with everything out of the box. It did come with a very nicely looking purple 10 armor. Very cool. I believe 10 is the armor that comes on the Roar Bahamut. Once we get the Bahamut, we can change this out if we really want, I guess. 10 armor is pretty good because it is symmetrical. It does have 5 weight points on one side and 5 on the other. It is it's pretty weighty and it's symmetrical, so it is very useful on a lot of the Dynamite Battle Beyblades. There you go, you can see now. And yeah, that's about it. The blade here is of course Dranzer V2. Fantastic, we finally have a Dranzer V2. We did already have Drigger V2 and Dragoon V2, so now we have Dranzer V2. The Dranzer V2 has been announced to be in one of the anniversary set editions from 2023. So we have that to look forward to. Kind of sad that we don't get it in a random booster or anything, because like we already have these 3, and then on the anniversary set we're gonna get these 3 again with Dranzer V2. So you know, I don't know. I think they could have put it on a random booster. This last random booster with the Air Knight, I think it would have been pretty fantastic, but you know, it is what it is. Coming back to the blade though, you can see that a lot of these parts are very slim. You know, the only thing holding this part are these parts. So I don't know, you can see that it is a lot thicker here, whereas here is pretty thin. So I'm not too sure about that, but you know, it is what it is. It is a remake, so the teeth are nothing to write home about, and it is pretty light, it's pretty thin, but you know, bit chip is made of metal so that it does put some weight into it. And this is a right spinning attack type. You can see that there is a really crazy heavy attack right here, a little counter attack here, a little smash attack here, and so on. Another really heavy attack here, and so on. It is pretty crazy, but because his attacks are pretty prominent, it will also have a lot of recoil. Perhaps not as much as Dragoon did, but still pretty heavy right there. It does look very amazing. It does look very beautiful in my point of view. It is oval, and like I said, a lot of the attack types that are oval shaped, they do carry out that weight from one side stronger in its attacks. So that's pretty interesting to see. And yeah, it's a pretty nice remake, if I say so myself. Forge disc is a 0, and it comes with a frame cross, which is fantastic. 0, like we've mentioned before, it is also pretty oval. It does have its weights on 2 sides here, but more importantly, it does allow the inclusion of a frame, which is mostly why people use 0 back in the days. And 0, you can see that it is somewhat smooth here. It does help in the life after death, but you can see that there's these 4 spikes, probably why it's called cross, and you might think it might hinder life after death, but if you look from the side, they are pointed upwards, right? So it won't hinder life after death. It will be okay. When it tilts, it won't get in the way of the life after death. So that's fantastic. That said, these points are not big enough to add any impact points, I believe. Yeah, it won't be any impact point, but you know, it's just there to look cool for the life after death. That tiny bit of weight addition, I guess, for that little weight distribution perhaps, but nothing more than that. Still, very cool, especially with the stickers. I do think it's fantastic. Now the driver is a reboot, not an ultimate reboot that we saw, just a reboot. It doesn't have the rubber piece on it, but the mechanic is very similar. It does have these tabs that open when you spin them at first. When it's the fastest, it will open up like this, so the tip will be there, and that tip will make it so that you'll have a calmer pattern in the beginning, and then as it slows down, these tabs will go in, and then it will be spinning on this flatter surface, which is like a star here, kind of like a jaggy, like a wider jaggy, I guess. So it will be a lot more aggressive with that. It is pretty short, I guess, but it is a dash. So, you know, it will have more prominent tabs right there and stronger springs in there. So it will at least have stronger resistance to burst, which is great because, as I said, its recoil will be great from its own attacks. But yeah, these are the parts. Let's assemble it, test it out, and of course battle it against the other V2 remakes that we have. And that's it, folks. As you saw, Dranzer V2 was good enough to beat both Dragoons, and that wasn't too hard because Dragoon V2 obviously does have a very prominent left attack, which once hit, they would either burst or unbalance them quite a bit. But Dranzer V2 was not good enough to beat Drigger V2, because of course Drigger V2 is a monster that can keep up with Dynamite Battle Beyblades, so you know, it is no surprise that other remakes have a hard time beating him. But yeah, that's what I had to show you. Take the conclusions you like from that, leave us a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to some more videos like this. Obviously, we are focusing more on Beyblades, but we also do bring other spin tops from time to time, and sometimes even stuff that are not even spin tops, but then we try to spin them anyway just to see if you can. So if you're into stuff like that, I'll see you next time, and until then, stay nerdy, guys.